Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics. Thanks for hanging out with me outside today. So today we're going to talk about summer tubbing. Wasn't sure if I was actually going to set anything up this year, but I went ahead, decided to go ahead and set something up kind of simple. So the sun is absolutely blinding me right now. So let's go ahead and let's turn over there and let's talk about what we got going on. Alright, as you can see here, we've got a bit of a contraption. So we've got three 55-gallon plastic barrels that we're using, where we just simply sawed the top off. You can see right here, we just, actually I took a, you can do it with, probably easier with a Sawzall, but I actually took a circular saw and then kind of set on it and twisted the barrel as I was sitting on it to get the cut. And you can see it's not perfect because it's obviously, you know, way thicker in some places, and it's you know, giantly notched on this side. But it is what it is. And so these barrels, you can find these things all day long. Usually, like on Facebook Marketplace, you'll find people that are selling them for about 10 bucks. Some places may be up to $20, but these I was able to get for $10 a piece. So this gives you about 135 gallons of water to work with. Again, for only about 30 bucks. And then you can see the PVC and stuff that I've used, you know, just kind of cheap PVC that's left over. So let's kind of talk about the setup and how this thing works once we got the tops cut off. The first barrel we decided to raise up so that it could just naturally flow out. So you can see down here we've got cinder blocks underneath this one to get this one a little bit higher. And in this one, it's simply just overflowing into this barrel. That's why the water level is lower in this barrel. So actually, it'd be better if you were to raise this middle one about half the height of that one, so that you would have about the same water level in either one of them. But again, as I'm doing this, I'm literally making it up as I go along, like I always do. And it all just works on simplicity off of a single pump. And there is the air conditioner cutting on, but we'll deal with that. We can still hear. We've just got a single pump in here. It doesn't really matter what size pump you use, as long as it can push up. You know, it has the head pressure to be able to get it over here. I think this is just like a 750 pond pump. I've got pumps laying around all over the place. I think this is a pump you can probably pick up for $20 used. Lots of people have these things left over. So all it's doing is in the last container is the only place where there's a pump at. All right, so you'll see we've got the pipe here. The pipe goes up. Again, that pump is pushing up this ½ inch all the way over here, and then fills this one up, and then overflows into this one, overflows into this one. Just a very, very simplistic setup. So we got over 150 gallons of water, so it's easier to keep the water a little bit cooler. Being here in Texas can be difficult because it's 100 degrees all the time, but for the most part, we seem to be able to keep the water about 90 degrees, or never get above 90 degrees. So obviously we can't keep every kind of fish in the world out here. We got to keep fish that are being able to withstand that kind of heat. If you wanted to, you could put some covering over here, you know, to create some more shade, because it gets a lot of light during the day. The reason I put it up here against the house is because if you look here, it's right above where the roof is. So the rain, we have no gutters over here, so the rain just washes off and keeps these things filled, so I don't have to fill them. Well, I do have to sometimes. We're in Texas, we don't get a lot of rain in the summer, so sometimes I got to come out here and fill it. But it gives you a while, because it'll keep pumping until this barrel gets completely empty. And talking about that at the same time, the way that these things overflow, you know, it goes to this ½ inch pipe, that if it builds up any kind of moss or anything and that thing gets clogged, this thing will just start overflowing. It'll keep overflowing because that one over there is going to keep pumping until it's all the way down. So you got to watch it and make sure. You can't just leave it for weeks at a time to make sure the thing's not getting clogged in either one of these areas and then overflowing, burning your pump out, and then killing the fish that would be in this area, because this one's going to lose all of its water. These two would be still and still have their water at least, but that one is going to end up being completely empty because this thing is only going to drain until it reaches, you know, the height of where that actual drain is. And then right here, this is something that I put in here. This is to try to keep the fish from going over. Now granted, if they have fry, they're going to be able to get over. So you kind of got to think about the placement of your fish in each one of these, because if you have fish in there that can eat fry, any fry that goes over is going to get eaten by these fish. So you kind of got to determine, what am I going to put in which area. And I really need to make another one of those traps up here for this one too, because everything just flows right down into that. So if you got all the same fish, it doesn't really matter. But if you're trying to do, you know, 3 different types of fish, you got to try to create some type of enclosure. And then you look down here at the bottom, you'll see where I have professionally installed this beautiful, beautiful stone. That's a joke, because no, this is not professionally installed. This is simply thrown on here just to kind of appease my wife, because let's not kid ourselves, this is a hillbilly redneck setup. And if there's one thing my wife does not like, is the hillbilly redneck setup. So I tried to make it look just a little bit nicer than it is, because oh my goodness, like, I've been to some of your houses and I've seen some of the setups you guys have, and I'm not really sure how you're still married. Well, in fact, some of the guys I know are single, because you guys got some crazy, crazy looking stuff going on in your yard. So I have so many tanks in the garage that I don't want to push my wife over the edge. In fact, I actually thought about setting this up at work, but the problem is I have no electricity and I have no water to the outside of the building. So I thought about trying to do solar panels and such, and I don't know. It's out in an industrial park where stuff can get stolen, so I don't know. It's something in my mind I'm working on, because I got a lot of room up there that I could put ponds with a bunch of trees, but we'll figure that out another time. Up here, this is a light that works off of solar power, so it builds up and stays with, you know, a battery, builds up that, stores that electricity throughout the day from that sun, and then at night it shines down here on the ponds. And by shining down here in the ponds, that means all the bugs at night come in here and land in the ponds and give the fish plenty of food. That's obviously up there real temporarily. I want to, you know, hook it onto this pole or something so that it stays all the time, because it has fallen before. All right, so the next question that we come to is, now that I got this thing all set up and running, all completely cycled and ready for fish, I want to ask you guys, what do you think I should put out here? And don't say guppies. We're not putting guppies out here anymore. We've done guppies before. I don't want any more mutt guppies. So come up with some other ideas of what you guys think I should put in here. Be sure and put it down in the comments below. But think about the fact that this water is going to reach 90 degrees at some time. And preferably, I would like to not have to bring it in when it starts getting cold. Now, granted, we had the ice before, and so those situations, the fish would have to be brought in, because it stayed frozen here for like, I don't know, 10 days or something. Absolutely insane. All right, there you go, guys. There is the simple DIY project for under 50 bucks to get you 150 gallons. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You got any questions or comments, be sure and leave them down below. So thanks again, guys, and God bless.